Good morning, everyone. How are you today? It's Jane here. It is Tuesday morning here in Australia, and I thought I might talk about some of the envelopes I've made in the last month, or just give you some ideas. I know some people are interested in this, some aren't. But this is writing letters is a really great way of using your fountain pens. So let's get into it. I've shown you this before. This is my envelope template. It is wooden. It has got packing tape on the back because it's starting to break over the years. You know, broken little corners and everything. But I believe you can find these on Amazon or Etsy. I've had mine for well over 12 years. So it's withstanded a bit of a beating, shall we say. And then I just use a pencil to outline, scissors, and this is a glue that I tend to use. It's a Tombow Mono liquid glue. It has a pen tip and a broad tip, so I'll show you that. So that's a broad tip, which I don't tend to use. I just use the pen tip because it's actually very strong glue and you only need a little bit of it. So that's the glue that I use. And the template, just sort of finding other spaces to put things at the moment. Okay, so these are some of the envelopes I have made. Now the first one we've got, it's just a magazine page. Hang on, I'm just going to see if you can see all this. Yeah, first one I've got is a magazine page, and I've just photocopied it and made an envelope out of it, and stuck a label on it. Now I've got a Canon Pixma G3660 desk jet or inkjet printer, and it just sits on my desk. It doesn't take up a whole lot of room. I've had it for, I don't know, 3 years now, and it comes with like the little vials that like, and you buy a bottle and you fill up the ink, so rather than buying cartridges, and it works really well. So that's what I use. But yeah, if I find something like this and I think, oh, that's really beautiful, I'm going to want to use it more than once, then that's what I do. I photocopy it. So that's the first one. The second one I've got, my husband bought the newspaper a couple of weekends ago, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to photocopy a bit of that. And so that's what I did, and made an envelope and stuck a label on it. Now this one is actually a plaque that was given to us by a friend, and it's about an A4 size. It's a bit narrower than an A4, and I thought, oh, that's really nice. I'm going to photocopy that too and make an envelope. So that's that one. It's just a tin plaque. The next one is also a little bit of an artwork. It's this beautiful stag on dictionary paper that was purchased when we lived in Texas. It's vintage dictionary art, and it's, yeah, www.vintagedictionaryart.com. So yeah, it's just really nice. It's just a piece of timber, and it's had this dictionary page collaged on it along with this stag, and I made an envelope out of that too. Now you can't see his face, but you can see his antlers coming up. So that's another one. And then I started, oh actually no, we won't do those ones yet. I had an old, it's a second-hand book that I found in an op shop, what we call op shops. I think you call them Goodwill overseas. And I thought, oh, I really love the front of that. So photocopied that and made an envelope. And then the inside of it, where is it? Here, had this really cool sort of postcard paper. So I just photocopied it and made an envelope out of that too. Didn't have all its pages, and I've taken some out of here as well. obviously the first user used some things out of here, but you know, I've still got, I think it was like 50 cents or something that I bought it for. Now the next one, I wanted to sort of show you how you don't have to do very much. So this is just an A4 paper, and I've just used some textures or markers, if you will, and just done little dots on it. And then I photocopied that and made an envelope out of it. And then I found these images on Pinterest and just used some glue and stuck them down with a label. And then I found this sticker. I think someone has sent me that sticker. So that's just a really, you don't have to have like all the stuff to make an envelope, if that makes sense. Like, as long as you've got a template of some sort, it doesn't even have to be a wooden template. I've spoken about this in a previous video too. You can simply just get an envelope style that you like and gently pull it apart, and you could, you know, trace that onto like even the back of a cereal box, so you've got something a bit sturdier, and you can use that as your template. Like, it really doesn't have to be an expensive thing. So yeah, so that's the next one. And then I did the whole marker thing again. I think I was possibly feeling a little bit bored this day, and I thought, so I just did markers the whole way down the page, and then I just got a bunch of different stamps, rubber stamps that I have in my collection, and just stamped all over. Now this is made really good circle stickers as well, but this is the envelope that it made, and you don't have to have fancy labels. I print my labels off Pinterest. There's a lot of free printables for labels, so go on there and, you know, search address label or something like that. But this is something else you can do. I just cut a piece of blank white paper and put a texture outline or a marker outline, and that will be used as my label. So it doesn't have to be, you know, super creative. And then this day I just used some of my watercolors, and then just put a stamp on the front of them and made my envelopes out of that. So there's lots of different things that you can do, and things that you can find around your house and photocopy. Like, I reckon even cutting out the front of a cereal box, like just cutting out the front and photocopying that would be interesting and make an interesting envelope. So yeah, like it can be whatever. Like, I have even been known to photocopy fabric. So, you know, you've got a shirt that needs ironing and it's really, really crinkled and everything. Put that down on the scanner bed of your printer and photocopy that, and it makes it sort of brings out an interesting sort of look, I guess, for the envelope. So that can be fun to do as well. But yeah, like, I literally just go around the house and I find things that I can photocopy and make envelopes out of. Not always. And then some other things that I've done too is I use Patreon. I've got a couple of or a few actually Patreon subscriptions, and I've put those I've done videos on those before, and you know, put those down. But one of them is Selvage from Donovan Beeson on Patreon. Another one is via Micaela. So and another one is Albin Love Handmade. So they tend to do downloadable sort of digital printables each month, as well as having like a higher tier where you can actually have like physical products sent to you each month. But the first tier they usually do is printable downloads or digital downloads. So that means that as long as you've got a printer, you can print your own stuff and print as much of it as you like. So that's really handy as well. And then I tend to, I'm just trying to, then I have this box of, it's just a gallon leather box. Their boxes are so sturdy and great for reusing. But this is just a bunch of my scraps, scrap papers that I've used, and they're just cut-offs from other things, and I can use those and make a collage as well. So we might actually do that today. Do you want to do that? Do you feel like doing that? Let's do that. I usually like to put this down so it stays a bit nicer, otherwise my background gets glue all over it. Hang on, we'll just move some of this stuff out of the way. And I'm just going to use this glue stick. It's a Bostik glue stick. It's probably getting to the end of its life actually. And then I just have like an old sheet that I just put things on and glue. So let's do this together. And what I might do with this is I might just start in the corner down here and work my way up. What do you reckon? Let's try that. So I think one of the things, I mean, people always say, oh gosh, you're so quick with your turnaround with letters. I have a lot of things prepared ahead of time and ready to go. So when I don't have letters to respond with, I might actually use that time to create envelopes or stamp my letter writing sheets, you know, and use that time to sort of prepare mail, I guess. And then when a letter comes in, I tend to, I have a stack of envelopes ready to go. They're usually made a month ahead. So I've already made August envelopes. So, and what I'll do with that is I just, as soon as I get a letter, I will get one of those envelopes. I will write the person's name and address details on it and put it with their envelope, so I know it's like a visual reminder for me that I need to write to that person. And that kind of helps me stay on top of things a little bit better. I've used all different sorts of systems over the years, and that seems to be the one that has stuck with me the most. So yeah, it works well for me. And so some people get a little bit hung up on the fact that they don't have beautiful stationery or whatever. As long as I have something that I can write on with my fountain pens, and it doesn't have to be, you know, fancy paper either. As long as it holds up to some fountain pen ink, you're right. And just, you know, you can doodle, you can draw things. Like, there's so many different ways that you can actually use what you already have as opposed to going out and buying things. Some people do amazing pen pal mail, and they'll do like pocket letters and flip books, and I have done that in the past as well. I tend to get a little bit worn out with that after a while, because I think the most important thing for me is the actual letter and connecting with that person and getting to know them. That means more to me than the stuff, if that makes sense. And some people, you know, writing letters isn't their jam, you know. I would prefer to write a letter than watch TV. So, and not everyone's like that. Some people think, oh no, I need to just sort of switch off at the end of the day and watch something to get my mind off things. And that's fine. But for me, I feel awkward sending emails or things like that. I would prefer to write a letter. And even if I am watching TV, it's usually on for background noise. Like, I've got to be doing something with my hands all the time. I'm a bit weird like that. So, you know, I can't just sit and watch TV. I've got to either be writing a letter, journaling, netting. They're usually my go-tos. I'm just cutting these white bits off. they're usually my go-to things of what I do, and you know, it makes me happy. It's sort of like one of my favorite pastimes. I've been writing letters since I was about 5 years old. Basically, as soon as I could write, I was writing. And I would send letters to my nana, and she was just the sweetest woman you could ever meet. She was just beautiful. Anyway, she would always write back, and she would include another postage stamp for me so I could write back to her. And that's where I really got my love of letter writing. That continued right up until the age of 20 for me, when she passed away. But it actually, every time I put pen to paper and write a letter, I am reminded of her, and so thankful that she passed on that love of letter writing to me. In teenage years, I started writing to friends that I made on vacation and holidays and things. And then I think it was in 2012, I discovered Instagram. And from there, I was able to connect with people all around the world. And some of those people that I started writing to 12 years ago, I am still writing to today, which is really lovely, because you really developed a nice friendship over the years. And you get to know that person, and you sort of go through the ups and downs of life with them, and you share experiences. It's very rewarding. So, and I mean, I have a lot of pen pals, and people sort of go, oh gosh, how do you keep up with so many? But you've got to remember, everyone's busy too. So not everyone writes back straight away. Some people may only send mail, you know, twice a year or once a year. I'm just checking I'm still in frame. Yeah, still in frame. And that's okay, because that's all they have capacity to do. I think that's the other thing, not having expectations or placing demands on people, because that can really put people off. I've had a few pen pals over the years reach out to me and go, I'm so sorry, I'm so busy, I'm sorry I haven't written. And you know, I don't want them to feel bad, because obviously there's other things in their life that are taking a priority at that time, and that's more than okay. Like, it's okay that they prioritize other things in their lives, you know, and not writing to me at that particular moment. It doesn't worry me. I don't get upset, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that's the other thing, just being easygoing and accepting, and I don't know, just going with the flow a bit, you know. I think that's probably the most important thing in life, is sometimes just to go with the flow as much as possible. So I'm just building up, try to find some other pieces. I'm just building up my collage as I go. See, these are cut-offs from that newspaper article. So and this is very therapeutic. I mean, you do not have to be artistic for this at all. I am not artistic. I cannot draw. I cannot paint. I have tried over the years, and I will probably continue trying. However, I can do this, and it works. So it can make for some really interesting sort of artwork sometimes. And so, oh, sorry, that's a fish tank behind me. And I think that's the other thing, like, sometimes you think, oh gosh, that just looks like a dog's breakfast. But when you photocopy it and you make it into an envelope, it looks so interesting. And just think of, how interesting it's going to be for all the hands that it touches along the way to its recipient. It gives the postal workers something to smile at as well. That's the way I like to think of it. You're actually putting a smile on more than one person's face when you're sending mail. You're giving others something to look at as well and make their day a little bit interesting. I'll put this down. See, I've got scraps. That's from, I don't know what that's from. And like sometimes I just stick them down willy-nilly. Today I'm sort of trying to do more of a, I don't know, basket weave sort of pattern. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but sometimes it's good to just try these things and see how they turn out. I've got so many little scraps to use up, and I tend to not keep, I mean I do use them up, but I tend not to keep every single piece of scrap. Like as long as it's something about this big, I'll keep it and I'll put it in that box so that I can use it for collaging. I'm trying to work out which way this goes. Goes up that way. So as you can see, we're sort of getting a bit of that basket weave sort of pattern happening, except for these little bits. We've got another one of these from another collage. So let me know in the comments below whether this is something that you're interested in. I tend to just talk more about fountain pens and inks on my channel, but I like to talk about this as well, only because it's, you know, something that interests me and I enjoy it. But it's also a good way of using your fountain pens, you know, and finding someone to write to. You don't have to have pen pals. You could just write to your family or friends that don't live close by. If you were looking for pen pals, you can do a hashtag search in Instagram for pen pals wanted, and that usually brings up a lot of different people who may have capacity to write and who are looking for other people to write to around the world. So that's another way of finding people to write to. And sometimes, like, just reach out to someone who you really love their Instagram feed and you're inspired by their photos, or you can see that they send postcards or what have you, and just reach out to them and say, look, hey, I really admire your posts here on Instagram. I find you inspiring. I was looking to write to someone in your country. Are you open to receiving a letter or being pen pals? It's okay to put yourself out there and ask, you know, and they may say no. They may say, oh, look, I'm sorry, I don't have the capacity to do that, or I'm so busy. But you're not going to know if you don't ask, right? What's this say? Health and well-being. I could put that on there too. No, I might save that for something else. What else have we got here? I've got these ones. So it's yeah, it does require putting yourself out there and being a little bit bold. But you don't know, that person may come back to you and just say, yes, I would love to be pen pals. I would love to write to you. Let's exchange mail. So if you are interested in this sort of thing, I might actually do another video on just different things that you can say in a pen pal letter, or things that you can enclose with a pen pal letter if you do decide you want to go down that whole sending things along with a letter. I'm repeating myself a lot, aren't I? Sorry about that. It's just, I don't know. I find it fascinating to learn about people's lives in other countries. you know, English speaking or not English speaking. Like it's all different. They might have a different routine to what I have. They might have different hobbies to what I have. Their family setup may be different to mine, you know. I just find it interesting. And I think a lot of people do. I'll put this over here. So this one's taking a bit of time, but I might as well finish it. I've started, I need to finish it now. So, and this is another activity you can do in front of the TV or do to relax. I'm telling you, it brings out your inner child in you, and you really enjoy just sticking things down. I don't think we do enough cutting and gluing as adults. I think there should be more of that in the world. More cutting and gluing and getting a little bit messy every now and then. Which is easy enough to do with fountain pens and inks, isn't it? Gosh, you should see my hands after I ink up pens. I never manage to keep them clean. Never. Always have to make sure that like if I'm going somewhere, that I don't ink up pens before I go, because I usually, for a couple of days, I have stuff all over my hands. I wash them and everything. It's just, ink gets a little bit stained on them, I guess. See, I've got all sorts of things cut out here. Oh, that's interesting. Look at that piece. That looks like it's from a magazine page. Like a photocopied one. So if you do decide to do this, I'd love to see what you come up with. Could you please tag me on Instagram, JP Pen and Ink, so I can see what you've created and what you've done? I think that would be really cool to see. See if it catches on. And so far, from a little bit of paper and some glue, this hasn't cost us anything. I wouldn't probably send this one in the mail, because it'll be quite bulky and, you know, almost like a piece of cardboard, so hard to bend and fold. But I would photocopy it and use that. So then and that's what I do with a lot of things. If it's a page I'm going to use over, or I think I want to use more than once, I do photocopy it just on my little printer, because then I can get more I can get longevity out of it. So we're just, gosh, I've got quite a few. It's going to take a while. But let's see what it's like when I'll actually print it for you too, and we'll see what it looks like when we're finished. And thank you to everyone who has actually, who has commented on the ink pairings that they'd like to see with those two pens that I put up as well. Really appreciate it, because I was sort of, these are cute too. It's really hard to kind of do something and talk, but it's been really helpful just to sort of see what all of you would like to see in those pens. The winning contender seemed to be, for the Esterbrook Esty, it was hands down Emotional Olive. Like, that got the most likes, I guess. And then the next one, the Leonardo Memento Zero Grande, the standout for that one is the Jayne Emerald of Chivor. So, I'll stick that in there. So that was, so that's good. And I may actually do another one too that you can all help me with as well. That'll probably go up in the next day or two. What else? Still looking through scraps that I've got here. So many scraps. Oh, this is from one of Donovan Beeson's, actually. Might just do that and put that in up there too. This was a digital download of an envelope that she did a couple of months ago, I think. What else? Oh, that's kind of cute. Put that in. I wonder how long we're up to this video so far. I don't really know. Okay. So, and we've just got some little bits that we need to fill in now. So this is a bit of a rainbow. Could put that in there. Let's do that. It's a bit left over from the magazine page. How I got on to doing the magazine pages is years and years ago, a friend actually gave me a whole pile of envelopes. Oh, sorry, not a whole pile of envelopes. She gave me a whole pile of magazines. She said, hey, do you want these? And I'm like, yeah, I'd love them. Thank you. And I had a little look through them and read them and what have you. And then I thought, what am I going to do with them now? And I actually saw, it was an old Mailart thing that someone had done, and they had used something like a book page or a magazine page or something to make an envelope. And I thought, oh, that's what I can do. So this is not my original idea, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's not my idea, but it's a good one. Just do a bit of that in there. Almost finished, guys, almost finished. And then we will photocopy it and see how it turns out. Just trying to think, I need something there and I need something there. What have we got? You know what? I'll do that and that. So that can go over here. Like that. Okay. So it's like almost like a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle too. Just finding where you can put your pieces and where they might go. And have I got in? Oh, that one. I might do this bit here. Okay. So there you go. That's our collage finished. As you can see, I've still got a whole heap of scraps left. I'll show you. Put them all back in. See, I've still got quite a bit left over to use for another time. Okay, so we're going to photocopy this now, okay? So it might be a little bit noisy, and I am sorry about that. And then I just have this little container here, and that's where I sort of cut all my labels and put them. So we might use a blue one for that. And I just get those off Pinterest. As I said before, there's heaps of templates on there that you can use for free. They're free downloadable ones. So as you'll see, it's not the fastest printer in the world either. So that's our photocopied collage. And this is the original. So you'll see it's not quite as bright and vibrant as the original, but that's okay. We can keep that as our master board now and use that to make the envelope. So let's do that. So I just put it on there, sort of try and get it as fairly even. I've got stuff going everywhere, guys. Sorry about the noise. That's the printer. Okay, and then we just cut that out. I'm actually thinking of doing something like this, a collage with junk mail, and you know, things that you just get in the post for free, or ads and flyers and brochures and things. So let me know if you're interested in me doing a video for that. I just thought it would be another way that we can just use things without having to buy anything, and at the same time make things interesting for the people that we're sending mail to. So this is how I make all my envelopes. They are quite literally made by hand. I don't have one of those fancy sort of scan and cut machines or anything. I know there's quite a few of them out on the market, so if you have one of those, more power to you. This would be a breeze doing something like this. See, even these pieces here, I would probably keep those and use them for future collages. So I'll just put that to the side at the moment though. So you fold these little arms in, I guess, or little flaps. Fold this up. Fold that down. That is your envelope. And we'll just put some glue on it. Once again, the Tombow Mono liquid glue. It only needs a very, very fine line of glue. It really doesn't need a lot. And it stays stuck. It's not like a glue stick. I find glue sticks are great for collage, for sticking things down, but not great for keeping things like really tight and kept together, especially when mail gets knocked around a fair bit. So and then we just put our label on there. So, and that's what we've got. That's it. Simple, effective. Haven't really bought anything. And all being used just from magazine offcuts, and paper from your printer. So, and that's it. See, I'll get rid of this. So there you have it, another envelope. So let's pull together all the ones that I showed you. Sorry, balancing a lot of different things here at the moment. So we've got all sorts of different ones, and they're all interesting. All using different bits and pieces like books, magazines. Oh, these ones are upside down. Like, it really doesn't have to be that fancy. It's but it does make it interesting for you and for the person receiving it. So I'll leave it here. I think it's a fairly long one, and I've been rambling, and I'm finding it really hard to like do something and talk at the same time. But I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if you did, and let me know if you're interested in seeing other sort of mail art, sort of collage style, using different bits and pieces going forward. Thank you everyone who has watched. Thank you everyone who gives me a thumbs up or subscribes. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you. Bye.